YouTubers. This is the part 3, I would think. Let's see, part 2. Yeah, this would be part 3. Putting the engine together. And what I wanted to show you, some of the instructions here. If I have to see on the monitor. There we go. Shows the top ring. Shows the second ring. Then it shows the third ring. It's got like a little spring, and then it has 2 rings. One goes below the spring and one goes in the upper part of the spring. So what I'm showing you here, this is the instructions you get with, this is the number for the rings. It's Stens. I guess that's how you pronounce it. So it shows here that this is the top ring, and right here, that's the second one. I don't know if this thing will show that. It's like right there. Let's see if it'll show that. Well, I can see it. Cool. It says top. So that's the top ring. This ring faces up. And then we have the one here that corresponds. Of course, this one says second. Right there. And that's the second ring. And the second, where it says second, faces up. And these are the 2 oil rings at the bottom of the page here. It shows these are the rings here. What it fits is this ring goes in, then the spring part goes in, and then the other ring goes on top of it on the fat groove here of the piston. This is how it'll fit in just like that there. Whoop. Hang on. These things kind of stick together. And I'm wearing gloves because I got cuts on my hands. If I get oil in these cuts, I'm going to be screaming kid. So those all fit in that groove right there. They will be fitting into that groove. Wait a minute, I can turn the angle. Wait a minute. Orientate myself with this. So that'll be fitting in the bottom there. I just wanted to show you, I bought this little tool, and what it does is okay, let me see. I'll flip this thing around. There we go. Right side up. I had to look at it at a certain angle. It's upside down. So you take these little grooves there, and you slide this is an old ring, the ring I took off, and you slide it in those grooves, and the grooves, maybe let's see better this way. There we go. Slide it in those grooves, and then it just pulls it apart. And what it does, it holds pressure on it. And when you put that on, you just slide it over the top into the groove, spread it just a little bit, and let go of it. There you go. It pops right in. There you go. It's in. Take it out. You push on the back side so that your deals will stick out, your little ears, and you can go in there and you can take it off again. So that's the old ring. That had a different type of spring on it. And they do. This little wiggly thing here was in that lower groove, and then this was like those 2 other rings, but this is different. It's got like little spacers in it, and this is kind of it's an oil thing. It scrapes the oil as a piston. It's the bottom one. It's the oil scraper. So I'm going to be putting the rings on the piston, put the piston in the bore. There's all kinds of stuff on YouTube about doing it, and I just want to take my time about doing it because, well, I guess we could just do it here. So let me shut this off, get things ready, and then we're going to put the rings on the pistons, and we're going to slide the piston into the bore. So just hold on a second here, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and let's see if you can see that. I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm not going to touch this thing. That will have oil all over my hands. Oh, come on, baby. And I'm just checking to see if you can see what I... Okay, all right. So we start with one of these lower rings right here. Put that on a little compressor. Or the spring expander. Maybe we can just slide these on here. Let's try that. These aren't as stiff as the upper rings are. Work our way down. You just got to work your way down, turn the ring, pull it out as you go along. A little screwdriver here. Pull that other ring out, work my way down to the next groove, which is the second groove. Okay, now I'm working down to the bottom groove. You kind of got to pull it out and around. See there? I have to look to see if you can see what I'm seeing. I'm pulling it around the deal here. See? Pulling it away. There you go. Pulling it around, and I'm working it around. I'm sliding it out of that second groove that I moved it down to. Sliding, and I'm sliding it some more, and I'm sliding it some more, and it's in there. It's right in that. Okay, we got that one in. Now we got to put the springy one in. Well, what they say on the instructions that we're supposed to, there's where the seam is right there. Where am I showing you? Right here. There's a seam right there. You can see it. That's where that seam is supposed to be an inch to the right. So this seam here is going to be an inch to the right of this seam right here. So when this thing comes together, one of those, the lower ring is going to be on an inch from that, which is probably about right about there. And then when I put the upper ring is going to be right over here, and I'll show you on that little piece of paper that I have once I get this all together. So we're just going to roll this one around just like we rolled that other ring. We roll it around. This one's a little bit more flexible. Kind of hard to screw this one up. I'm sure somebody could if they wanted to. And that's got to fit in there like that there. That's a tight fitting. Huh. Well, that's weird. Oh. Well, that's not fitting in for some reason. Well, there's no way to get both those in there. Good Lord. Alright, I ran into a problem already. I'll be back. Well, let me tell you what. That was fun. Holy cow. Okay. It just took me a while to figure this out. See, this is a different style than this. I've used this before. You put the spring inside the groove. Spring goes in the groove, and then put the spring inside the groove, and then this thing snaps around the spring. Really easy. Well, this is not easy. What you have to do is put the spring in first, and then let's see here. I found it here where the springs come together, or they got to be separated right there. You put the springs. Okay. Put the spring in there. That's where the two of them meet. Well, I sit there and hold it with my thumb. Then I put the lower ring in. And the center of this ring is right there. Now, hang on, I gotta go back some more. Gee whiz. I'm so terrible at this. Okay, right where my screwdriver is the center of the ring. There we go. So the bottom ring is over here about an inch away from that one, and the upper ring is an inch away from that one. So you put the springy one in first, and then you put the lower one in. Space it an inch away from that center, inch away from the center. Then I put the upper ring on, and I space that an inch and away from the center. On the instructions, which were over here, on the instructions here at the bottom it says the inner spring is included. Install the groove first. Place the spacer groove. Do not overlap spiral rail. Steel rail in groove above spacer. Spacer remains rail and groove below spacer. Locate rail gaps approximately 1 inch to the right and left of spacer ends. So that's blah 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 blah. And that's what I did here. Right here. So on the one part, let's see here. So this is what I just put in. I put the spring in here, and I spaced one to the right of that lower ring. Then the upper ring I spaced to the right of that coil deal. So now when I put the second ring in, the gap will be over here. And then when I put the top ring in, the gap will be over here. So these will all be away from each other. You never want these lined up with each other. So there's one here. This is the main spring with the two spring lower one above it. And then your second one I'm going to put over here. And then the top one I'm going to put over there. Alright. That was a little bit more than I wanted to deal with today. Okay. So we're putting the second ring in, which it says on this thing. You can see that. It's kind of wet from the oil. So we're going to put the second ring on there. And we're going to space that. I got to find out where it was marked here. Where I am with my rings. There's one there. That's the top one, the bottom one. So the center is right there. So I'm going to mark that. I took a little marker and I marked so I know where to put my second ring now. Since this is the one, my second ring will probably be up maybe right here by this little tab that's supposed to face the flywheel. So my next one, I'm going to try to put the next one right there. And then my top ring I'll put right there. So, okay. So let's put the second ring in. I want to make sure that says facing up. Second ring. Okay. Alright, we're putting it in the pliers like I showed you before. Stick it in the end. Spread it apart. There it is. Okay. Just want to make sure I got that. And then we're going to put it over here. Put the space over. Right there. So then the top one, put that down in here. Take the top one, it says top. Right there. Does that even focus in? Let's see, will it focus it? No, I guess not. But it says top. I think I got it to focus last time. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know until I review this to what comes out and what doesn't. Most of the time, everything comes out with this one here. Okay, the top one goes right here. There you go. There's the top one. Pretty cool, huh? I'm going to put the spring compressor on it. Got a little crazy. Where's my deal here? First of all, we're going to pour some oil on the rings here. Get these things all lubed up. Yeah, everything lubed up. Side skirts, everything. We want this all lubed up. Don't hurt nothing. Alright, I'm gonna get the spring compressor on here. No. Get this thing here pretty tight. You want to get that down in there. Let's see if that's the upper part. Yeah, this is the lower. I got it backwards. Hang on a second here. If it can go wrong, it will. Let's try this way. There we go. Okay. Tight as you can get it. Alright. So now we're going to take some of this oil we got here in the pan. We're going to roll that in there. This pan is pretty clean. Put that in the bore. Alright. Nice and oily. So then follow me. Alright. So we noticed that this little notch on the top here is supposed to face the flywheel. So that little notch has to face up. So when we slide this in here, we might as well try to orientate it best we can when we don't have to slide the rings around. So now we slide this all in here. It's in. Voila! That was easy. Not. Oh my God. And the pointer's pointing towards the where the flywheel is, so we're doing pretty good. We probably have to clock it a little bit, but oh man, it's there. Rod, right there. It's in there. Hey, hey. So it needs so I'll turn that a little bit, but yep. So now we're all ready to put the crank and stuff in, which I'll be doing here shortly, but I think I'm going to take a break. Alright, I got to go feed the dog. He keeps coming down here and looking at me. Like, Dad, it's time to eat. So let me go feed the dog and I'll be back. And we're back. Got the dog fed. Poor baby. Starving himself. So, well, we're going to have to go in and put the, this is the counterbalance. That goes in here. Put that back on there. I have to put that back together and put the crank and the counterbalance go all back together. And I got to put the cam in, and then I got lifters to put up in the bore and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to leave it at that, and you can watch other videos on how this is done. It's not a really big deal. Let me, so you can see me here. Okay. It's not a really big deal to do this. A lot of them do it better than me, and they probably show you more of the things you like to see on how it's done with the sump gasket and all that stuff. Did want to kind of talk about when I was telling you about the colors that we made the engine being green as it is. Detroit has a green. Yes, here it is. I did painted Detroit's green, and they're like the color of this filter. That's kind of a light colored green. That's what Detroit color is. But this color, look at that color. It's quite a bit difference. This is kind of washed out green. This is green. Like I said, what was this again? Grabbers. Oh, what was this thing again? I can't remember it. Grabber green or something like that. Quite a difference. I reviewed the video, and I was like, well, wait a minute. I did say I painted the Detroit's green, so I have painted a green engine. Just a not pretty green engine. This one's. I like this. This is great. Imagine if you had a small block Chevy or a Ford or something in this green. That would be cool. So I'm sure there's somebody out there with one of them little 4-banger tuner cars that's probably got some nice colors on it like this. So let me put this thing back together, and I'll kind of talk to you once I get certain parts on it. You know, I got to put the carburetor and put the governor stuff all back together again. Not a big deal. Make sure I put oil in it. Then I'll have to get my friend Chuck to come over, pick it up off the bench, at least set it in the frame of the tractor. It's too heavy. I can't pick it up. I probably could, but after I'd set it down, I'd probably be off for a few days. So I'm going to put this together, and if you want to see how this bottom part is, you can watch all kinds of videos out there on how the bottoms go together. It's not a big deal. So, all right, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Okay, well, here's something I need to show. I put the connecting rod and everything in there, and I went to loosen the nuts on here. Man, these things are torqued down from the factory, so I had to stick a plastic screwdriver in here and put a ratchet on it and break these things loose. I didn't know that, or I would have had it loose before I put it in here. So note to self, or note to you guys, when you get a new rod, loosen the nuts up before you put it in here. Wow, that thing was really in there too. I get this big old bowline on it. So yeah, I finally got the thing loose. But, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. I guess I'll have to show you some other things I run into then. So I'll be back then, show you something else. Bye.